The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Cowboys StoryLine, May 2nd. It is 2024, and I am Nick Eatman here for another edition of Cowboys StoryLine on Thursday. We got lots to talk about since we've done the last show. I mean, obviously, I think Zeke was officially signed then, but now he's changed numbers now. If that matters at all, I don't know. He wants a new start. He said he's got some unfinished business, but he's going to do it in number 15, which moves Trey Lance to 19. A little bit of shuffling going on there. I don't think it mattered too much for Trey Lance, and it matters for Zeke. So if you have Zeke's jersey at 21, that might matter a little bit, but maybe somewhat disappointing. But you want to see how he does, and I don't think it really matters the numbers. Can he play? Can he still play? Can he still run? Can he still be the guy to pick up some yards on short yardage situation and around the goal line? That's the Zeke that people remember, and that's what they certainly could use. So let's talk about that and a lot more. 888-855-2297 is the number to call. Let's go right after it here. Irene in Virginia, start us off. Irene.
All right, lead off today. Hey,
there you go.
Good. No, not good morning. Good afternoon. Anyway, all right. I am ecstatic about the draft. No, I love the energy that our man Guyton brought. But that was actually the one guy that I was like, don't give me him. But that's fine. He seems excited. I love Cooper Beebe. I think the pairing is going to be great.
Yep.
So not worried about that. And just as Maris Luafau, I guess is how you say that.
I think so.
Clearly they valued him more than whatever running backs were left, right? At the end of the day.
Right.
And they didn't have picks for like 70, 80 picks, so they had to make a decision of would he fall to the fifth. So that's fine. I think that one surprised us, but he says the right things and people say the right things about him, so we'll see how it pans out. On the numbers, since you just mentioned that, I saw Cowboys Twitter is so funny to me. This guy that we're saying like, who is this wide receiver now today? It's, oh my gosh, he can't have 19 now. So I love that about Cowboys Twitter.
Wow, because of what? Because of Amari?
Because he was 19 for a whole day, and then now he's 18 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's just funny.
He won't be 18 for long. Because Damone Clark's also 18. So, they'll figure it out. But
they'll figure it out exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. But the thing I wanted to talk about, and it's actually like an old thing, but nobody brought it up in any of the shows. So since you're in the building, there was the NFLPA grades that are done by surveying the players, right? And overall, we did fine, but there were a couple things that stood out, which was training staff and training room. C- for training room and training staff B+. I know I've toured the facility; it's beautiful. I don't know specifics about the weight room, and then of course we know that Britt Brown does wonders on rehab. But it seems like there's the overall thing is not getting as much individualized attention and not having enough staff. So do you have any commentary on that? And do you know if there's been anything done, I don't know, to add some staff and improve that?
Right. Okay. All right. Well, a lot of good stuff there, Irene. Thanks for kicking us off in the right direction. Appreciate that. To go to that last point there, it was surveys that were done for a lot of different aspects of the team, and that was one where the Cowboys didn't get the best grades, and it really did, like you said, it was more about just understaffed more than anything. It's not about the quality of the training room and staff and all the stuff that they have back there. It's pretty state of the art. This is still a relatively new place. I mean, they were 2016s when we moved in, so it's not that. It's more about I think it was just not having enough people on staff, and so that's something that I haven't heard if it's been addressed. I can't imagine how it wouldn't be. This is not a salary cap thing. We lead the league in coaches, I feel like, and analytics staff and things like that. So I think if that's a problem that the players are saying, I can't imagine that not being addressed. But again, I don't know that, but that seems like a rather easy one to address. Just based off of, you can go and hire some people. So I if that's the problem, I would imagine the Cowboys can fix that. Some of the other things you said, Leofau, Guyton. Remember this about Guyton. I mean, there's people that are high school seniors right now, high school senior that's played a lot of football, maybe even a freshman in college, left tackles that have played more years at left tackle than Tyler Guyton has. Tyler Guyton has not played a lot of time at left tackle or even tackle at all. That's not the position he was. He started football late. So he's only 2 to 3 years, 4 years maybe into this. And this is where he is. And so I think that's the projection of this is it's not so what he is right now, but if you just look how, the progression and a little bit more coaching, how good can he really be? Because if this is kind of close to the floor, then the ceiling should be really high. And he's 6'8", he needs a high ceiling, anyways. But don't forget that part about Guyton. Leofau, we'll probably talk about him later on in the show. So let's keep it rolling here. Travis in San Antonio's next.
Nick, what's going on? Happy Thursday to you.
Yeah, you too. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I just wanted to ask you a quick question and ask you why you think the Cowboys drafted Cooper Beebe.
Okay. Why do you think they drafted him?
Because he's got an ass.
Okay.
You know that's why.
You think? Yeah.
That's the next biggest, squarest ass you have since Ron Leary.
Hopefully we don't see his as much as we saw.
Maybe they'll get the pants equipment situation sorted out
probably
for him.
A little bit better. I think he's putting guys on their ass is probably why they drafted him. He every highlight I saw. Now, of course, there's probably some bad ones too, but man, every play I saw, he would just block him for a little bit. And it's like, all right, you know what? I'm getting tired of this. I'm gonna, as he said, dirt them. I'm gonna dirt them to the ground there. I like it.
Because he's got an ass.
Yeah, there you go. Bam. I love that, and I also you see the other stuff on the tapes. Like I say he's the dirt part was cool, but I say you can get some too. Because he'll knock one guy over, and you see there's highlights where he gets up to the second. It'd be a DB or whatever. Guy. Even if he doesn't need to block him, he still goes. He just shoves him to the ground. Like you can get some too.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think that's I didn't see them projecting him as a center. Otherwise, I probably would have been more on maybe them taking him. But if your interior is Zach, Beebe, and Tyler Smith, I think your biggest issue always is we don't move people off the ball, and I think short yardage and whatnot with Zeke, I think that'll be significantly improved. So that was and like a lot of people, my favorite pick. The Guyton pick, I know you just touched on. If I won't lie to you, because there's people that listen to the show that I've talked to about it. He was the one tackle I didn't like the most, but that was just based on what I saw.
Yeah.
I get that you can buy it as a projection because, he has super long arms. The only problem is in that I saw in college and whatnot is he let guys get to his chest too much, and he would just catch them. So if he cleans that up and he uses, it's like a fighter. If you have a long reach on a guy but you can't use it, then you let a guy get inside, then he's going to control you. But if you can stay on the outside and control that, which I'm sure they can. I don't know about Solari. I trust Philbin more. He developed Tyler Smith a little better, so we'll see where it goes. But if he can develop that and use that to his advantage, then I think it's a huge thing. So I'm on that with objection, especially since they got BB as well. So I thought that was great. And then lastly, I wanted to, hopefully he calls, but I wanted to address the captain, Rob, on his point about Trey Lance, because I heard the other day. I know people are saying like it was still a stupid pick or a stupid trade. I think like both things can be true in this instance. I think they do. You can say it's stupid, but I think they believe in him enough because they came out and said they had a second round grade on him. So I think they believe in him enough that, they think he can play. And like we talked about it, you mentioned on Tuesday, it is going to be the highest pressure preseason for him because if he can show a little bit of improvement, show that he can play, then I think it's the only way, Nick, to me, because everyone says the first thing to say about Dak in his contract is he has all the leverage, right? it's the only way the Cowboys get, and I'm not saying they have them over a barrel by any means, but it's the only way they gain a little bit of footing or leverage back if Trey Lance can play and they can go, hey, if you want to go, we understand. If you want to go test them, like, we have a guy, like, this is what we can offer you. So I'm not saying it's going to have a huge impact, but I do think it's something rather than nothing. So I just want to see if you thought about that.
Yeah.
But you guys have a great week.
All right, thanks. When it comes back to Trey Lance, I mean, playing him helps everybody. Really, it helps him. It gives him an opportunity to showcase himself for whatever happens down the road. He's going to be in the NFL somewhere next year, and the Cowboys know that, and he knows that. So he'll be able to do that, and it gives teams a chance to look at him as well and evaluate what happens. I mean, like somebody gets hurt. We saw it last year. I said the example yesterday, but I mean, it's somebody like Minnesota, they got hurt. Well, they traded for Dobbs, in the middle of the season, and so he would be a guy to evaluate from there. And right now, he just hasn't had a big sample size, so they're going to give him. And preseason is still hard to evaluate because you don't know who's playing, who's blocking for him, and who's he playing against and all that. But it's the best they can do. So. I mean, I know. Roger Goodell came out and said the preseason games, he doesn't like preseason games; they don't matter. But try telling a guy like Trey Lance that it doesn't matter. Try telling a 7th round pick, somebody that's fighting for a spot, and you want you want them to play. You want Justin Rogers, your 7th round defensive tackle from Auburn. I mean, play a lot. It matters to some. It matters. So we've seen it. So that will be interesting. To see how that goes, and as you said about Guyton, yeah, he's going to have to keep developing and understand those type of things. But I think he will. I think he's where he is at this point. It looks pretty good for how he's progressed, and you guys are fans, so just because you're a fan of the team and have been forever doesn't mean you can play left tackle. Okay, I get that, and he's a fan. And that doesn't mean he's going to be good. But what I think it means is that this stuff really matters. It matters to him. It matters to his family. It means the world to him that he plays left tackle for the Dallas Cowboys. And so when you have that mindset and you don't want to let yourself down, you don't want to let your family down, you don't want to let anyone down, you're going to do everything possible to make sure that you are doing what you have to do to be the best player. And if you're doing that and you're studying as much as you possibly can and learning and trying to get your hands right and all the things that you just said, because it matters to you, on top of the talent that you have, now you're talking about an opportunity to have greatness. And I think there's a lot of players that had a lot of talent that didn't really put in a lot of work, and they were still pretty good, really good. But, if you can combine the two and just be a talented player and even work to get better and better at your craft, that's Pro Bowl, All-Pro, even Hall of Fame type status. That's the difference between some of them. Not saying he's going to do that. I'm just saying he's got the base. This matters to him, and he's going to do everything he can to make sure that he can develop into the type of player they want him to be. All right, let's go to Lewis in Langston, Oklahoma.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm
Made
good.
it through for a second time.
There you go, man. Yeah, no first-time caller. Now you're a veteran now.
There we go. Well, I was calling because I was sitting there thinking about them drafting Ryan Flournoy. Is that how you say his last name? I think that's how you say his last name.
I heard it was Flournoy. Like we're trying to put too much into this. Flournoy and all that. It's Flournoy. So which is easy.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Perfect.
Right.
Well, my thing is he the Michael Gallup replacement, or is he still fighting just to get on the field? Because I like Brooks and I like Tolbert, but once you add him in there, what is he, receiver number 6? And then on top of that, then you got what's the speedy returner?
Turpin.
Turpin. Where do we go with this as far as receiver depth? And with Cooper being gone, with Cooks being gone next year, are we back shopping for another receiver?
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of I got to thinking about the depth on the receiver side. Not that I think it's horrible, but I think it could be better at some point. Oh, and I forgot about Martavius Bryant.
Yeah.
Is he still on the practice squad, right?
Well, he's on the team. There is no practice squad right now. In the offseason, you can have 90 players, and so he's on the team. Right. There's no practice squad. He's on the team, and he's in the drills, and he stands out because he's 6'4", and he's...
You're right.
I mean, and he's done a lot of stuff this offseason, and he looks good. And, like I said before about Guyton, it seems like it matters to him right now. So, we'll, he's got the talent as well. So, yeah, don't forget about him. So
Right.
Yeah. Well, you got anything else, Lewis?
Oh, and I was going to say, I forgot to tell you the other day, I guess Guy movie will be, I think it's set in the 80s, 90s. I'm 35 years old on, actually I turned 35 May the 6th, so a couple of days.
All right.
But
happy early birthday.
Thank you. But I guess favorite Guy movie will be Warriors. You remember, have you ever seen that back in the 80s, I think early 90s? It's set in New York. It's called The Warriors.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. If you get a chance, check that one out. It's a movie.
Okay. Look it up.
Yep.
All right.
But no, that's it, man.
All right, Lewis.
Like I said, I try to get in when I fit in, and I appreciate you. Thank you for the time.
Oh, good call. Good stuff. Let me add this about the receivers. I mean, it's May the 2nd, so of course we're gonna have to get ahead of ourselves. I mean, that's what we're doing. That's how we fill out a show. But it's we didn't see Jalen Brooks having a great training camp and off season and being a big part of this last year. There's things that you can't always see. That they have some rookies, they have some young players that are out here. You would have never said Miles Austin is going to be, going to not only make the team, but then they're going to, for a couple of years, he's going to be here, and then all of a sudden after 3 years, he's just going to blow up and be a 2-time Pro Bowler. I mean, you don't expect that. Rookie free agent, you don't expect Kevin Ogletree to be the guy that turns all the heads and makes the team and has, wins a game for him in the opener against the Giants, his second or third year, maybe fourth year in the league. But so it's hard to kind of to guess that. I mean, this is so when you say Flanoy, where's he going to be? I mean, who knows yet? Who knows? You like to think Turpin will have a role. I mean, he had a nice role last year on top of the kickoff and punt return stuff. And then, Flanoy will factor in. Jalen Brooks will factor in there. Jalen Tolbert, I think, is your Gallup replacement, if you want to say that. He even replaced him last year. But that's your third receiver. And then after that, it's anyone's race, anyone's game. Martavis Bryant wants to jump in there. That's why the preseason games matter. You see how these guys perform when the lights come on. All right, let's go to Randy in Texarkana. What's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can, man. What's up?
There you are. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. Dude, I was trying to call in Tuesday, but good Lord, I was busier than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest, and I looked up, and it was already like 2:30, and I was like, crap, I missed out. But, yeah, I was wanting to call in and just give a couple little thoughts on the draft stuff.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, one real quick before we even talk about that, clear something up for me. On the overhead drone shot, whenever it's flying over the practice field at the start, I noticed that the grass field looks smaller than the turf field. Is that just me, or is it actually smaller?
I don't.
I mean, a field is a field, but it looks shorter. It looks like it's like 90 yards instead of 100.
I think the field is not different. The way that they were setting it up there, Chris, you might actually know this better than me, but yeah, they did something a little different. The field is the same, but I think the way they draw the lines, it has something to do. And Chris might be on the phone. I know he knows the answer to this. It has something to do with the way. I think that the camera's in the back or something about.
Say what? I'm sorry, I was on the phone.
So why is it he's looking at the drone shot and it looks like one of the fields on the practice field is shorter than the other? I don't think it's shorter than the other, but the field, the goal line is moved in.
Yeah, so
90. Do you know?
So they moved it in just for. I think they did it because they needed that space to work out in for like a grass field side. So the actual field right now, when they usually do the lines, is only like it's minus
80 yards.
Yeah,
or something
80
like that.
yards or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, let's be honest with you. They're not throwing 90-yard passes every day. So So they shorten the field a little bit just so they can have the grass to work out with running backs and stuff like that. And they need an end zone line, so it's so they're not running.
So the end zone's like on one end, and the other end doesn't really have.
When they're throwing fade routes, they don't want the guys going off into the concrete, so they do it short.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I thought it looked a little different because it's real quick and there's always some writing on the screen or something, so you don't. I was like, there's something weird about that. But anyway, I'm glad you cleared that up.
Is that the one? Right. Is that the one where the drone goes right through the
No, it's
the truck?
Just on all of y'all's little advertisements. There's always a star flyover, and it has like your sponsor's name in the middle of the screen or something. It's one of those.
Yeah.
So, hadn't been listening. Okay, just like everybody else, I'm on the BB train. I think he's our next Zach Martin. But Tuesday, no one brought up the receiver Flournoy. And if you've talked about it already, let me know, and I'll just change subject.
We actually did on the previous call, but what's your take on him?
Everything I heard from like the big channels on TV when everything was going down and all that, man, it sounds like we might have stole us a receiver with this guy. Like they're comparing him to a Des Bryant, and they're saying he's hard to take down, and I've seen some of his highlights and stuff like that, and I know we've got Brooks waiting in the ring in the wings, and we were really excited about him last year, so I want to give him his chance, obviously, because he's been there, give him a shot, but I hope they don't let this guy get lost in the mix. Like, I hope they really do something with him, because if he's everything they're trying to talk him up to be, he may be one of those, Deebo Samuel type receivers for us. It would be nice.
Well, if you've ever watched practice, if you ever got to go watch a practice, I mean, they do one-on-one drills, they do 7-on-7 drills, they compete drills. So there's not going to be an opportunity for him to get lost into this. I've heard a lot of people say, well, he didn't even have a quarterback at Southeast Missouri State, and so therefore it's hard to gauge him. But as I pointed out, there's not a lot of quarterbacks coming from that league. There's probably not a lot of cornerbacks coming from that league either. So let's see who are the type of competition he's Randy Mossing these players and catching the ball over, which is great. That's how you get noticed. But do it here. I mean, Jerry Rice did it at Mississippi Valley State, and then he also did it in the NFL for 20 years, and he's the greatest receiver of all time. I mean, it happens. But Larry Allen was pushing people around at Sonoma State and then did it in the NFL. So let's just see how it can be done. Let's see how it translates.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one guy, I'm kind of excited about seeing. I hope he turns out. And I remember we had us a tight end last year, and the name is, it's escaping me. He was a young guy.
John Stevens?
Yes. I don't even know why they were listing him as a tight end. He just looks like a really tall, big receiver. I think
not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, I just saw him the other day out there, and I was like, who's 81? And they're like, that's Stevens, which is good that he's cleared. No, he doesn't look like a wide receiver anymore.
They put some weight on him?
They put some weight on him, and and it looks like good weight. He looks like he looks every bit as a tight end. So
gotcha. Yeah, because he was really doing something for me too there. Sure. And that's about all I had. Other than I was wanting to say I love Parsons. He's one of my favorite players, all that good stuff. But if people thought we had a headache with doing the Dak contract a few years back and this contract, just wait. Like I said, on the field, I love the guy, but all this stuff he's doing off the field with hanging out with the quarterbacks, and he's all over the world and the nation, and I have a feeling his head is outgrowing his body right now. And, boy, when it comes time for numbers, he's going to try to get, quarterback numbers. And I do not see him settling for a basic. He's going to go all out. So
yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And that's what happened. I mean, that's what happened when the cap went up and all these players, got more money, inflated contracts and things like that. I mean, it makes it real easy for his agent to be like, all right, well, if this guy's getting, and I hate to keep talking about Dorrance Armstrong, but it's so easy because he played right here. He had $15 million a year. So I mean, if I'm Micah, I mean, the number definitely starts in the threes. I mean, he's probably going to ask for $30 million a year, if not more.
It's gonna be crazy,
and I think it's warranted. But are the Cowboys going to do it? Do they want to do it? And and they do. I think they do want to do it, but they wanted to do it right. And they don't have to do that this year, but it might be smarter for them to. So we'll see. We'll see how that all shakes out.
Absolutely.
All right.
And
one more.
And just to go out on this, tell Newey, quit trying to make love to that microphone. Speak up to us. Boy, last week when he was doing the pre-draft, he was, in the fourth round, I'd love to get. I mean, it was kind of a little bit creepy. It's like, dude, come on, you're talking to a bunch of guys. Like, I want to tell him to read the room.
Yeah, well. No, he's cool now. He's cool.
Oh, he's cool, but man,
he's cool.
In church you'll get that soft talk a little bit going on too. But Newey was just laying it on thick, man.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about a couple of those they went to cool class for sure. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Maybe they rub something off on Danny. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, gotcha. Hey, love talking to y'all,
all right,
and tell Mr. Jones that I've got a CDL, and if he needs me to come out there and drive that fancy bus around, and if he wants to pay me good, I'll do it.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, got
right,
two buses. Yeah, see you later.
All right, bye.
Busier than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. I mean, that one never gets old. I like that one. All right, good stuff.
A lot to unpack there.
Yeah. I think we just kind of talked it through. Randy's fun. He's a fun guy. Can you imagine him driving the bus?
No, I can't.
Man.
I mean, we do have trucks too, so.
We got trucks. We got a lot of stuff, boy. What happens on that bus stays on that bus usually.
Randy?
All right. Let's go to Tamara from Iowa.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hey, things are a bit spicy here in Iowa today. We're in the middle of bathroom remodel project at my casa, and it's only one thing has gone smoothly. Let's just say that.
Oh, gotcha.
I am currently hiding out in the car at Home Depot.
There you go.
That's exactly where I am. I'm not even lying.
Oh, that's great. You're like, well, you know what? I'm going to go in and buy some materials here in a second. But I got to call. I'm going to go call Dallas real quick. Call the StoryLine. Get my
what
thoughts.
They don't know. And maybe things will cool down to be a little less spicy by the time I get back, is what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So, hey, I would just like to give a shout-out to Irene. I heard her call last week, and I agree that I would like to hear some more female callers as well. But I love that she calls it, and she's very smart and probably more football than I am.
No.
But so my next thing is Zeke, the Zeke signing. I have a lot of mixed emotions about that. Oh, by the way, I'm over the draft. You probably figured that out.
Yeah.
I'm over the draft already. We'll see how that plays out later.
Well, you're right. Nothing can happen. I mean, they did it. They had the picks, and now let's go. Let's see how they do. So.
Yep. So Zeke, I had mixed emotions, and this is the thing about every single player that I like, and I like Zeke as a person. I know he had some off-field issues or whatever early on, but he seemed to get his stuff together.
Yeah.
So I'm good with Zeke. But every time they decide to cut a player, trade a player, or whatever, I always feel sad, or depending on how I feel about that player. But then it always turns out okay later. I'm like, oh yeah, they didn't do so well in the next place they went or whatever. With the exception of DeMarcus Ware, that one really burned, and that still hurts that we lost him. And I'm not, but. So I guess I just have mixed emotions. And I was wondering, this is what I wanted to ask you. Do you feel like, does he have a leg up because of his history here with the system? Or is that really not even a point since we have Zimmer now instead of Quinn? What do you think about that?
I wouldn't. I don't know about the defensive coordinator part of it. You mean the offensive, because the offensive. You're talking about Zeke, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Zeke. Yeah,
Zeke,
yeah.
For Zeke, the offense has changed, a little bit since then. Because Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator, and now it's
and he doesn't have Pollard now.
Right. So I mean, he's got a leg up over the other guys because he's had more carries in one season than all these guys have ever had in their whole life combined. That's the leg up that he has, is because he has done this. He's seen it. There hasn't been a look, an 8-man front. There hasn't been a game, snow, rain, sleet, whatever. He's done it all every night of the week. He's done it. He's seen it. So nothing you're going to throw at him is going to be different, and he's got that as an advantage over all of them. That's where I think the leg up is. It's not so much about they're all here early enough to learn the terminology, learn the system, learn all that kind of stuff. I think his experience is the factor for him.
Okay.
But you know, I mean, and that doesn't. And you're right. That doesn't change anything. Emmett's got experience too. He's not going to be running through these doors again. I understand that. I think most people, and I'm not speaking for you, most people would have been fine with the Zeke move if you pair him up with a younger back, a draft pick, second, third, fourth round, like they did with Pollard. Give a young guy with some juice that's got potential, pair him up with Zeke, great. But right now he's paired up with Rico Dowdle, who doesn't seem to be right. Well, he doesn't seem to be real thrilled about it. If you're a follower of him on Twitter, and if you could read between the lines, he's doesn't seem too excited about it. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. I mean, play better, be better. I mean, that's what it is for everybody, I mean, nobody's done anything where you're like, oh, he's earned his spot. This is going to be a competition and for snaps.
Right,
so.
Right. Alrighty,
All right.
Okay. Yeah, the other thing I have is, podcasts. I love podcasts, all kinds, not just Cowboys, but mostly the Cowboys, but other ones too. But my husband, he does not like podcasts. Like, he will not listen to them at all. He just thinks it's a waste of time. But the funny thing is, when anything happens during the season, like the draft or signing Zeke or whatever it is, he always says to me later on, he'll be like, so what did your podcast guy say about it? And depending on how...
Does he use the voice? Does he use that voice too? Like, what's your podcast? Yeah. But he doesn't like to listen to podcasts, but he wants to know what you guys are talking about. So I just wanted to let you know that you have more fans than you probably know that you do, maybe. And then also, and sometimes, like, depending on how spicy I'm feeling, maybe I share right away, maybe I make him wait a little bit and share later. Right. All right.
And then anyway, so props to you guys. Normally at this time of the year, I'm totally checked out, not listening to anything. And I love Cowboy StoryLine. And so keep doing all the stuff that you're doing. Oh, and one more question that I had. So do you ever, maybe not on the Cowboy StoryLine, because this is a really fun podcast, but I wonder about some of the other ones where they just speculate about this or that. Do you think anyone else ever wants to check out, like maybe the podcasters themselves? And if you can't share that, that's okay. But I just wonder about that sometimes. Like, you guys keep talking, but there isn't really a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's called June the 10th or something like that. That's when we check out and kind of stop all podcasts until training camp. So
yeah, that's what I usually tune back in.
Yeah.
But okay, but I mean before that though. So I mean, like, if you really like, you know what I mean.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, say what you can say.
Yeah,
okay,
I mean, yeah. I think you can. That's just something you have to observe. You know what I mean? It happens. I guarantee when some of these people get on a rant and they start talking and they start going for 5, 6, 7 minutes, I bet you there's 2 or 3 people next to them that have checked out at the time, and that does happen, and I'm guilty of that as well. That's why, hey, I don't have that issue now. I just get to keep talking. So, all right, thank you for the call, Tamara.
Thank you.
A lot of stuff there. I think you said the word spicy like 4 times. So, good luck with that. I guess bathroom remodeling. Zeke, I just said it. I mean, that's kind of what it is. I mean, it's I think he's going to be fine. But for him to have to carry the entire load, that's something he hasn't really done, I guess, in 2 or 3 years, where he's been like the main guy. I mean, last year he split time with Stevenson, who got more of the carries there in New England. So we'll see what develops. I said that about receiver. Same thing about running back. I mean, there'll be somebody that kind of emerges there, and that's certainly what they need. All right, let's go to Fernando in Miami.
What's up, Nick?
How are you doing?
Good. I got like three little quick stories for you. This weekend we went to the draft, me and my wife.
Okay.
Over there in Dallas, so that was pretty cool. And I met, they had these little girls dressed up as cowboy cheerleaders. And then when they finished that show, that cheerleader Kat, the Afro-American, I think she was on that show, that country channel on DirecTV that they show the cowboy cheerleaders.
Okay. Yeah.
You know her, Kat? Have you heard of her?
Not really. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's cool. Well, she was there. It's super sweet girl. And, I was like, hey, what's up, Kat? And she was like, hey. She took a picture, super nice girl. And then number two, we were in the elevator at the Marriott next to the Star. And then this gentleman walks into the elevator. And he had a suit on. He had this little cowboy emblem thing on the suit. And then I go to him, you work for the Cowboys? And he goes, yes, I'm Chris Vaughn. And I go, oh, yeah. He goes, yes, my son is Deuce Vaughn. And I was like, oh, yes, I remember you. And I told him, I looked like he had lost weight. And he was, saying thank you and everything. So he very nice guy also.
All right, yep.
And, yeah, he's super cool. And then the third story here, in the 90s, me and my wife, we usually try to catch a Cowboy game once a year. And we go down there, and in the 90s, when they had Troy and Emmett, they used to stay at a hotel. Well, they stay at the team hotel. And then the players all get out of their cars. We would hang out where the players get out of their cars, and we would take pictures. So I got, Woodson. I got Troy getting out of his Corvette. He used to have a white Corvette in those times. And we're taking pictures, and some of them come over, and they sign autographs, and some just keep walking. So here's the story. Nate Newton gets out of his car, and he's walking. People are screaming, Nate, Nate. I'm saying, Nate. And he's just walking. He ain't paying attention to nobody. So then we had gone to McDonald's. So I go, Nate, I got a Big Mac. Well, when I said that, Nate he wasn't very happy. He turns around, right? He didn't make eye contact with me. But he goes, I was going to sign autographs, but there's always slash in the crowd, so I ain't signing nothing. So he just walked off, and that was pretty interesting. So, this was in the 90s, so about 6 months ago, I called hanging with the boys. And then Nate was on the show, and I go, hey, Nate, you remember in the 90s? And basically what I just told you. Mm-hmm. And he goes, yeah, man. I go, I'm the guy that said I had a Big Mac. And he goes, yeah, I remember you. So that was pretty interesting.
Okay. All right. Well,
but that's about it.
That's it. Okay. All right. I wasn't sure where we were going with that. Well, Nate, and I don't know if Nate's changed a whole lot since then. I mean, I think it just depends the mood he's in. Sometimes he's really into, engaging with fans, and sometimes not. So,
yeah.
But who knows? He maybe thought you were making fun of him because of his, weight or whatever. But
I guess he did. I mean, I just said it like, hey, I got a Big Mac to see if he would look. And, there was always jokes about him and the Snickers. And so I thought, this ain't going to get him, too pissed. I just said I have a Big Mac, but he got pissed.
Yeah.
But he remembered.
Yeah, well, good. Yeah, well, that means it really stung. You always remember those things that I guess it sticks with you. So, all right.
Yeah. Man.
All right, Fernando.
All right,
thank you for the story. You can't have a show called Storyline, and if you don't have stories, and Fernando had 3 of them. All right, let's go to England. We got Mike in England. What's up?
Hello, Nick. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. Second-time caller. Last time you let me go on and on and on. You were way too polite, so I'll try and be much quicker today.
Okay.
But a couple of quick things. Karaoke song, Sweet Child of Mine. Okay. And man film, I want to be patriotic and go for a James Bond film or something, but I've got to say...
time out. What was the song again?
Sweet Child of Mine.
Sweet Child of Mine. Okay, I thought I heard something else, but yes. Okay, Guns N' Roses for sure. All right, love it. Go ahead.
Well, it's good because it's got a big guitar solo in it, so you can kind of get your breath in the middle.
Get your breath.
And,
okay, yeah.
Go for the big finale. Man film, I'd love to go with James Bond, but I'm going to have to go American Gangster, or anything with Denzel in it, to be honest. So
True.
That's my shouts. And last time I was on, Chris said that he wanted to know my soccer team, and you said you're a Swansea City fan. Which I love because I love Chris, but he went for Man United, which is what everyone goes for. So you stick with the Swans, but my team's not.
Got relegated a long time ago, and they haven't got back. So I don't know.
Actually, I went with Chelsea, so you got to get that straight, my friend.
He's Chelsea.
I'm sorry, I beg your pardon, but equally boring because everyone will say Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, Man City, But yeah, Swansea's just fine. They're still there. They got relegated, but they're still there. But my team, I grew up in a little town north of London called Watford. So that's my team. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah, Watford. Yeah.
They have one very, very famous fan who you will definitely have heard of. Do you know who that is?
No.
Sir Elton John. He gave me an Easter egg once at Watford. So there you go, claim to fame. Right, Cowboys, big shout-out to the draft show, including Chris. Just a great job. Loved all the coverage, right from, the end of the season. They've taken us through it, and what a job they've done. So I hope they know that that's appreciated. And I've loved all the coverage. I love the draft, and I love all the wonderful nonsense around it. I must have read 100 mock drafts and so on. Absolutely brilliant. But did you know that today ESPN have put out their 2025 mock draft?
Sorry, what? Okay.
God. Apparently, we're taking Evan Stewart, wide receiver from Oregon, in the 2025 first round. But what was interesting, I looked at what they'd said this time last year about this year's draft, and their 24th overall pick was one Mr. Cooper Beebe. So, that's a good sign. People were projecting him first round a year ago, and we picked him up in the third. So
where was Jaden Daniels picked last year?
I did see that. I think it was quite high. I think it might have been around 6. They had obviously Caleb Williams first, Marvin Harrison second. I can't remember all the others, but they had us getting a cornerback from Florida who didn't even enter the draft in the end. So, a bit off with that one. But good to see Cooper up there.
Yeah.
Very happy. And I thought the trade was brilliant. We were hoping for to get back in the fourth, and we ended up actually getting a high third. And I just thought that was fantastic. So really good job by the team. Obviously, we don't know until they start playing, do we? But as it is at the moment, I'm really happy with their work. And, Zeke's an added bonus as well. So really happy. That's all I got for you today. So I'll keep it a bit shorter this time. So thanks for taking the call, and thanks for all you do. Great job.
Right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, Jeff. I'm sorry. Jeff is next up. Mike was the caller. Mike, talking about the mock drafts from last year and guys they were picked that didn't even enter the draft, and I mean, because to do a mock draft, you also have to put an order out there. And so what's the order? I mean, the schedule hasn't even come out. There's guys still signing. There's a lot of things happening that is going to lead to the draft order. There's players that are still in the portal trying to get to different teams. You don't even know where everything's going to shake up in college football yet. Pretty crazy to do that. I think mock drafts the day before the draft are kind of almost pointless, and so to do it a year, it's just content to do. Personally, I don't think it matters that much, but I mean, BB was a player that was good as a junior. A lot of those highlights I saw, he was good blocking there for Deuce Vaughn. So he was a guy that was projected high, and I think the Cowboys got to go in the third round. All right, let's go to Jeff in Little Rock, Arkansas. Jeff, what's up?
Nick, what is going on, my man?
How you doing?
Hey, I'm from Arkansas. I know you're from Arkansas.
Yep.
And I've been, this is my first time to call ever. I've been listening to you for years.
There we go.
For years. So,
that's right.
Got to say, we got to represent now because being a Hogs fan, baseball is rocking and rolling.
Rocking and rolling. That's
Basketball, you know who we got. Man, he's bringing some players in now.
I can't wait. I look at it every day.
Right. In football, we got our neck brace Petrino back. So he's rolling. You know he's going to bring quarterback in. That Taylon something.
Green.
Man, I saw his highlights. He looks like a faster Lamar for me. I don't know.
Let's go.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
But, hey, I had a question. I just got on because I'm on a lunch break, so I don't know what you've already talked about. But I did want to mention, so like the last quarterbacks that we've ever drafted out of the first round was Troy Aikman, right?
Right.
And so we've had 22 quarterbacks since then, and we haven't made it to the Super Bowl. And so my question was, why in Dak's rookie season did we not go back to Romo? If Dak's the rookie quarterback in 2016, my question was, why didn't we go back to Romo if nobody in the history of the Super Bowl has ever won the Super Bowl as a rookie?
Okay. When do you want to go back to him? Like what game specifically do you go back to Dak? I mean, do you go back to Romo? When do you do that?
As soon as he's 100%, in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just hey, I love Tony, and I think Tony. I'll be honest. Tony, I think would have played better in that game against the Packers in the playoffs than rookie Dak. I believe that, but you couldn't do it. You couldn't go back to Tony. Dak won 10, 11 games in a row.
And you got to go with the hot hand?
I think so, and I'll say this forever. Sean Lee's tackle for loss against Darren Sproles is the reason why they never went back to him. There's a game in Philly, week 5, and the Cowboys are about to lose. They're down 7. It's like 3 or 4 minutes to go in the game. They're in field goal range. The Eagles are about to kick it and go up 10. Sean Lee makes a tackle for a 5-yard loss on Sproles. They have to punt. They punt. Dak, who's played like crap all game, gets it, marches 90. They go score, tie the game, overtime. Get the ball, start it, go, drive, score a touchdown. Back of the end zone to Witten. He can thank me because I'm there pointing as a wide open Witten. Got the photo for that. They go win the game. Now he's won 5 in a row. Now he's won 6 in a row. He's 7, 8, 9. Pittsburgh game. Can't pull him now. When do you pull him?
Yeah, you're right. That Pittsburgh game, man.
Right. So
Zeke made a statement on that one too.
Sure, they both did.
Defense.
But it just never worked, and I think everybody knew. Yeah, Romo's got more experience, probably better for this, but. And I said it last year now. I said it, or I'm sorry, 2 years ago when Cooper Rush kept winning. I'm like, I just kept saying, I'm not pulling a guy that's won 5 in a row. Not doing it. So if he goes and wins these 2 games in a row, beats the Rams, and then beats the Eagles, and he's 5-0 as a starter, and Dak comes back, I'm staying with Cooper Rush. I'm not pulling an undefeated quarterback. And didn't have to because they lost it. He didn't play well against the Eagles through picks. It's made it easier. But I'm just saying, I agree with you. I think Romo was the better option. But at that point, you couldn't do it. And you couldn't do it to that locker room. That locker room had absolutely just embraced the youthfulness of that team. And it was Dak, and it was Zeke, and it was Zeke, and it was Dak. And even Witten had said it. That, hey, we can't stop what's happening here. It's unbelievable what's taking place. But it's here. Let's embrace it. And let's ride it. And they were a good team. So I just don't know when you could have ever done it, honestly.
Yeah, you're right. I got one more thing, and then I'll hang up and listen. So I have a real thing about the MVP, and I don't know if this would have really happened, but if it was Lamar and let's say Mahomes, and Lamar still ran for 2,000 yards, would you still give it to Lamar, or would they have given it to Mahomes? I think Dak's just getting too much disrespect because I looked up the stats, and Lamar's yardage and touchdowns are not even like close to Dak's. Mm-hmm. He's like in the middle of the pack. He's like 15 and 16 on yards and touchdowns. And it's like, I think give Lamar maybe the offensive player of the year or something, but give Dak. They always give the quarterback the MVP, and I felt like Dak got disrespected on that one. What are you thinking?
Well, he finished second. I don't know if he got disrespected, but personally, if you're a defensive coordinator, who keeps you up at night? Stopping Dak or stopping Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I see that point.
And you can put all those rankings in there for the yards and the touchdowns, but what about the rushing yards too? And that's where he's just got that dual threat. And again, they both have struggled some in the playoffs. I'm a '90s guy. Okay, I followed NBA and all that. In the '90s. How many times Jordan win MVP? I don't know. I saw Barkley win it. I've seen Karl Malone win it. Maybe Ewing even won it. But the most valuable player every single year was Michael Jordan, no doubt about it. And I think the same could be said for Patrick Mahomes right now. They like to give it to other players and all that.
Right.
At the end of the day, Mahomes was the MVP, or Taylor Swift for creating that buzz even more. I don't know.
I'm 43, and I am on that Jordan bandwagon, train, plane, whatever you want to call it. I'm right there with you.
Yep.
Well,
all right.
Thank you for letting me call. Right, first time, long time, and go Hogs, and how about them Cowboys?
That's right, Woo Pig. All right. Jeff in Little Rock, good stuff. Good first-time caller there. I think the line is open. I think that we're pretty much done here. Chris, is there any other callers?
Lines are open.
Lines are open, which means the show is closed. We'll close it down here at 2 o'clock. I know that phone will ring as soon as we say goodbye, but that's okay. Good show. Good. Got some first-time callers. Went overseas. 2 females. Randy from Texarkana, always a win when that happens. 2 calls from Arkansas. How about that? And just a lot of good stuff. I understand the stuff about Zeke. It's a wait and see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what yesterday he had some good things to say at the Home Run Derby, which was a cool event. And he high-fived my son Jacob, which pretty much he tried to get out of taking a shower because he didn't want to wash his hand. Because he got the high five Dak and Zeke, which was really cool in the dugout there. But more importantly, those guys were there to put on a good home run derby, good event, raise a lot of money for the Salvation Army, and also got a chance to talk with reporters, which we've got some stories coming out there. So that was good. Always a good event and good chance for us to catch up on some of these players. All right, we're getting down to it here with these T-shirts. I know I keep talking about it. They're about to be ordered. They're going to be ordered probably today. So we should be getting those in. If you're listening and you're on the team, I'm not talking about next year. If you were on the team and you got announced, you were on the All StoryLine team. I believe there's like 32 of y'all. So if y'all are on it and you haven't put your address in, Chris, can you put that text line up there for us so we can make sure that and give you your address and your name and your T-shirt size. Please do that because we are getting close here. 817-290-3298. Send us your name and your
if you
address.
Already sent it, don't send yours again.
Yeah.
We got those.
Yeah, we got everybody.
We've got a few that have not sent, and your size, please.
Yep. Because if not, what's going to happen is the box is going to come upstairs. We're going to start passing them out. Everyone's going to say, I want one. And there's going to be about 15 of y'all that never turned it in. We're going to be like, well, we'll give you a little bit of time, but after that, we may be passing them out. So hopefully you get a chance to send that in. All right, we will be back on Tuesday, and we will be talking more about Cowboys history, trivia, the draft, OTAs coming up, the players, wrestlers, wrestlers. There you go, Chris. All right, have a good one, man. For Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We'll see you next week on StoryLine.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?